If you have financial losses for all your life or a specific period of time, big chance is you lost someone, like a child. There was a word I cannot say on YouTube, abortion, pravda. So I cannot say it. So I'm trying to support myself with beeping about the certain words. But if you lost a baby or you had to go through all the process and you feel guilty, and later on there is a period of time when you have enormous losses, there is also chance that in your family history, in your ancestors tree, there were also baby losses along the way that you do not know about it. These are usually you do not know about it. There was no ceremony. It was just a kind of essence, energy, or soul, depending on what you believe it. Please call it, define it the way you would like to. But nevertheless, if we do ignore something in the universe and the nature, doesn't mean it disappears. Sometimes we just need to recycle it, acknowledge it, and recognize it, what happened. So I will be telling today very simple method that you can do it yourself. You do not have to go to therapist, specialist. You can, of course, if you do know someone you trust. But some of the people who are carrying this, I would say, torture for many, many years, they would like to try, they cannot find, they maybe have a problems with trusting someone, or it costs enormous amount of money, and apparently if these are material financial losses, you cannot afford those, maybe specialists and so on. So this material is of course for free. The only thing I would like to know if this is going to be helpful for you, and if you write me comment, give me thumbs up or subscribe to my channel, I am very much thankful for it. So let's start. First of all is when there is a woman and she lost a baby, or she had to go through the procedure, she did it consciously, but then of course there is the slight guilt. First of all, I am not judging anyone, so you know, whatever you did in your life, and this is the first step to tell yourself, whatever happened, it happened. Because at that particular moment, I was in this kind of awareness. This was my conscious decision. I am very sorry that this situation happened this way. I don't know how to do it otherwise, but this is what happened. So I acknowledge that, and the very important is to accept it and acknowledge also yourself that you did the best you knew how in that particular moment. That's the number one. That helps enormously to release the guilt that some of the women have with them. Long time ago, and I had no idea at that time about Bert Hellinger method and psychobiology, and nowadays we talk a lot about these things and how they are affecting us and how we can transform certain thought forms, energies, emotions. So we have great opportunities and skills of how to do it. However, long time ago I did it naturally, and I had, like many other women, it happens that your period is late, you're not sure of what's happening. That time I was practicing Reiki, so I didn't have much knowledge. I started to living my body, so astral projection just happened. I was quite in shock, with plus a lot of visions. I completely had no idea what to do with it that time. However, I figured that since maybe there is a chance that there is a soul and my period was late, I may try to talk to it. And I did. Just like you talk to a normal person, you talk to a soul. And indeed, I had a very clear and vivid image of a little girl, very beautiful one. And we spoke. We had a really nice chat. We say our goodbyes. I even cried at time. And the side effect of that was, of course, that the next day I got my period back. So you see, the way you are acknowledging and approaching a certain energy, entity, soul, essence, it may change psychobiology in your body. That's number one. That's already scientifically proved. Now here, if that happened in your life, exact the same procedure you can apply yourself. And no, you do not have to build an altar, burn several candles, make a big ceremony. Probably if something like that happened and you waited long enough and you never even heard about this is possible to change it, really 15 minutes, 20 minutes, if you sit down with yourself and just focus and turn to that soul and just normally have a chat, can create miracles in your life. So that's number one. The second one is when that happened in your ancestors' tree, so mother, grandmother, grand, and so on and so on. And it happened in probably every generation have this kind of history. So here, if you do follow this procedure and you find a soul, you talk to it, you say goodbye. So you do a little ceremony. And I will remind you this is not my method. It is Bert Hellinger who discovered that, who was talking about it first probably. But every culture, I believe, had something similar already. So I will give you those simple steps in a second. But first, if that will happen and you do not believe in yourself yet that you can do it, with the generation, there is a chance that after one child, one soul, you will see a crowd of them, because now once you started and you see someone, the crowd wants to be acknowledged and seen, visible. You know, what is the worst that can happen in everybody's life is to be invisible, not acknowledged, not even noticed that you exist. So if you do notice someone for the very first time and you're the only one to notice that energy that was lost for many years, maybe a century, because it goes really back in time to maybe 7 generation, that is psychobiology affecting us through DNA, through the code. So if this is for the first time, other souls, other energies that are there in your ancestors' tree, of course, would like to know. That is a big opportunity. So be a little bit assertive there, one after another. And please remember, just because you did 1 time, 2 times, it doesn't mean there is not more, and probably needs a little bit more time, a little bit more clearing. So that's number 2. In my books, Oracle, probably number 3 or 5, I do not remember. I'm sorry about that. But I described such a ritual because some of the psychics that I was meeting as my friends, they always were sensing that there is some sort of a child energy around. And I checked. I went to family constellation session, and I was invited that time. So I said, okay, why not try? And indeed, so someone in the family tree, in my ancestors, lost, of course, a baby. And this energy was trying to be visible. So once we acknowledge it, once we put it in the right place, this energy was gone, was sort of released. So these are 2 examples. Some of you, and now be... okay, I'm telling this from the psychic paranormal point of view and more from my books, and this is not something you can check. This is not scientifically proved, but since I had many dreams and many women wrote me about aliens experiences that they had babies and they lost babies and they gave birth to the babies on the ship and they lost touch with them. This may cause sort of a loss in the feeling in your subconscious mind. Some of those women also send me pictures after such weird nights and dreams with parts of body scratched, like bruises, and some of them didn't even have partners. So it's pretty interesting, unless there is some sort of, scientific method that we can follow a certain structure here. We cannot prove it, but there is something that bothers those women. a few men too, they found these experiences also, but more women wrote me about these experiences particularly. So that's the third one, when you can have a sort of a loss, and this can also influence powerfully your life. In all of those cases, what's required is to sit down with yourself and put yourself in an alpha state. Whether you use Silva method, just breathing, meditation, do whatever is going to take you there. Just slowing down the breathing, closing eyes, and feeling your space, your safe, sacred space. So it's good that you do it home, not on the street. That's number one. How to connect with that soul, just by your intending and asking, I want to connect. There is a soul, reveal yourself to me. Hi, I am looking now in my space for that particular soul. So simple words, just like talking to a normal human being that is next door, that is your neighbor or whoever you like. You must like it. And then very quickly, you will be surprised how quickly those of you who are empaths, who are seers, will notice a certain vibration in your body or thoughts, emotions. Your body is never lying to you. So you will notice a certain images coming, words appearing in your mind, and so on. So listen patiently what happened, because the soul is very likely to show you what happened. Some of them even reveal names. Some of them will give you a dream if they can, and introduce themselves properly if that's necessary. Depending on what happened, of course, you are going to use certain commands. So after a chat, very beautiful chat that you may have with the soul, and really follow the soul here, follow the conversation. The only recipe I can offer at this point, because it's so many different ways that can go, is to follow yourself, your uniqueness, and coming from your heart ability to talk naturally with the other human being. Follow that, learn a lot, and then it's very important that you put this soul by words, by actually giving a command like, I am giving you back your proper place in my ancestors' tree. There is a place for you. You are very welcome to sit there with them. So you are inviting them to the right place that they never had, because they were never acknowledged in your ancestors' tree, right? So it's very simple, but make sure you actually get there, because some of the people get so invested in chatting that they never end the process. So it was a nice chat, but the soul still doesn't know where to go, what to do. And finally someone saw me. And if you're not going to end this, it may happen that you are going to have even more symptoms, because the soul will really now wants to connect with you to finish that. To have the closure. So please make sure that you finish this. You have the closure, and so the soul. So give back, whether you say I love you, whether you say I'm thankful for you, I acknowledge you, that's your name, I welcome you. All of these commands have to be, all of these words have to be said straight to the soul. Don't leave anything out there. Anything you want to say, anything you want to share, anything you want to ask. If you are not perceiving clearly, you're not practicing, not enough maybe. If you're not perceiving clearly information, let it flow to you later. So maybe ask for a dream. Like, if this is necessary information, if this is important and you really want to know, want to tell me that, but I cannot perceive that quite yet. I'm getting some images that maybe doesn't make sense. I don't understand you. I am sorry for it, but please give me the dream, or reveal it in a few days, make it like that. So it's very unlikely that your ancestors lost only one child. Probably there is more. So these things need to be repeated if this is in your ancestors' tree. When? Sometimes in my cards, the cards can tell me exactly when, but what is good to remember, because that applies to a lot of people, is to do it when another crisis comes. So after the first, let's call it a little ritual, but it's very, very simple. Really, you don't build altar and so on. Your life will very likely come back to normal, or you are going to even have bonuses from the universe. Maybe you have some income, some money will come, that you are on the right path. But then another crisis will hit, and that's exactly the moment that is telling you, now is the time for the second one. Whether it's going to be with the same soul or another one, you will feel it. So you ask those questions yourself. Please, before you make any appointments with the specialist and you don't know whom to trust, don't wait. Do it yourself, trust it, make a note, test it out. And if you do write me about it, I'm very, very thankful, because I am collecting, not only for my books, but I'm collecting that information, because anything that is similar, the similarity I find in our experiences, that lets me know, that builds up also my confidence that what I'm doing, it makes sense. If it helps other people, if it assists them in their consensus reality right here, right now on this earth, I think it makes sense. So please, I will be very thankful if you add to that and give me additional puzzle to our stories, and I will be very likely to share more with you. Have a great day out there, and I'm looking forward to read from you. Bye bye.